I don't know what they want from me. Do they want me dead? Is that what it'll take?
That was the desperate cry of a food delivery worker who had just hit his breaking point. All it took was one bad review. Because of it, he got fined and his account was suspended. No account means no work, and without work, he simply can't survive. This happened in Wuxiang County's Sichuan province. On the night of March 19th, 2025, Meituan delivery drivers took to the streets and went on strike. They were protesting what they say is extreme exploitation by the platform. The tipping point was a new service Meituan rolled out called Meal Combo Delivery. It requires drivers to pick up multiple orders from the same or nearby addresses and deliver them to different customers at once. On paper, it sounds like a smart system, more deliveries per trip, but in reality, the pay per order has dropped significantly. One driver on strike explained that these bundled orders now make up 2/3 of all deliveries in the area. That means they're forced to take these low-paying jobs, and their earnings have gone down. Videos from the scene show large groups of drivers gathered in the streets of Wuxiang. They stopped accepting orders to protest what they see as unfair rules. Many of them feel like they're working harder than ever, but earning less, all because of the platform's never-ending squeeze. The strike is ongoing. At the heart of it all, the drivers say, is one thing: a system of endless exploitation. Delivery platforms are locked in brutal competition. To stand out, they keep cutting prices, but someone has to absorb the cost, and it's usually the delivery workers. Let's do some quick math. Say one delivery takes 30 minutes. The customer pays 10 yuan. The driver gets 5 and the platform gets 5. If the platform gets 6 orders an hour, that takes 3 drivers. That makes 10 yuan an hour, and the platform earns 30 yuan. But if they cut delivery time to 20 minutes, they only need 2 drivers. They drop the driver's pay to 4 yuan per order. But since each does 3 deliveries, they still make 12 yuan per hour. Meanwhile, the platform now takes 6 yuan per order. That's 36 yuan an hour. More profit, less cost. So the faster the driver works, the more the platform earns. This kind of pressure isn't just limited to Meituan. It's common across food delivery apps. These companies use high-powered AI systems to squeeze every second out of a delivery. Meituan has its Superbrain, and LME runs on its ARC system. Both are designed to assign orders in the most aggressive way possible, leaving drivers almost no time to breathe. These platforms control the work of delivery drivers through algorithms, stripping away the value of their labor. Drivers' earnings are directly linked to the number of orders they take and their ratings, all of which are controlled by the platform's AI systems. No matter how hard the drivers work, they struggle to fight against this unfair distribution system. The manipulation of data by the platform only increases the pressure on drivers, making their labor more and more mechanical and stripping away their individual worth. To ensure their income under the platform's widespread exploitation, delivery workers have no choice but to take on more orders. As a result, many drivers often break various rules. For example, Chen Si, a delivery worker who earned over 1 million yuan in 3 years, sleeps just 3 hours a day and works 18-hour shifts. To break the 12-hour order limit, he registered on multiple platforms to increase his order volume. Some have even resorted to using other people's IDs or illegally buying health certificates to register. In China, the exploitation of delivery workers by food platforms has been a well-known issue. However, it reflects a broader trend in society under the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party, where survival of the fittest is becoming increasingly severe. While delivery workers risk their lives running red lights and using their cell phones while driving, the CCP state media loudly claims that China is now the world's largest food delivery market, with more than 80 million orders daily. They paint a rosy picture of the work of delivery drivers while ignoring the hardships they face. The latest data from the CCP's Internet Information Center reveals that China now has 545 million online food delivery users, accounting for about 50% of all Internet users, far surpassing other countries. At the same time, according to reports from Chinese state media, the China Hotel Association says that the food delivery market in China was worth about 1.2 trillion yuan in 2023, making up 22.6% of total restaurant revenue. The daily average spending on food delivery is close to 3.3 million yuan. The report also mentions that the food delivery industry in China now generates 38,000 yuan per second in transactions, delivers 56,000 orders per minute, and more than 300,000 100,000 drivers are on the road each hour. By 2023, there were 10 million instant delivery drivers in China. With a 23% annual growth rate, the daily order volume for the 10 million drivers exceeds 80 million orders. More than 70% of delivery workers are part-timers, many of whom deliver food while looking for other jobs. State media reporters have also highlighted the tense work conditions of drivers, such as Song Meng, a young driver in Xiamen, Fujian, who was known as the king of orders after delivering 53 orders in one day, earning 326 yuan in delivery fees. The goal of these reports is to sing the praises of the food delivery industry, claiming it is rising rapidly, with associated consumption exceeding trillions of yuan, and creating unknown miracles. Terms like stable long-term economic growth and providing a solid foundation for the food delivery industry are frequently used online. However, what the CCP state media does not mention is that due to the poor economy, many of the delivery workers braving the cold wind on the streets of major cities in China are people who have fallen from the middle class, as well as university graduates who can't find jobs. According to official reports, the number of food delivery workers in Beijing in the first half of 2024 grew by an astonishing 49.7% compared to the same period last year, but the profits in the restaurant industry dropped by nearly 90%. A large number of unemployed people in China rely on flexible employment and gig work to make ends meet, with food delivery being one of the largest sectors of flexible employment. Chinese media previously reported that several pilots, flight attendants, and ground crew members from local airline company Joy Air in Xi'an had to resort to delivering food, driving for ride-hailing services, or selling goods on the street because the company had long failed to pay their wages or social insurance. Foreign media previously reported on a food delivery worker in her 30s. She lived in Shandong province and came to Beijing 9 years ago after divorcing her husband, and she's been working as a delivery driver. She works 12 hours a day to earn money for her daughter's tuition and to secure a future for herself. She revealed that Beijing's food delivery industry is no longer as lucrative as it once was. She used to make more than 10,000 yuan a month, but now it's only around 6,000 to 7,000 yuan. Moreover, the number of delivery workers in Beijing has tripled, and many newly graduated college students have joined the industry. But now, compared to being trapped in the algorithms, the drivers are more concerned about their increasingly diluted income. In other words, it seems that platform adjustments alone won't be enough to relieve the burden on delivery drivers. Behind the autonomous choices of the drivers, there's a more complex and heavier pressure. In addition to the constant squeezing of income, the work environment for delivery drivers has also become a major source of mental exhaustion. Delivery workers are often defined as the lowest class in society. Facing this prejudice, they feel great distress. Despite the fact that their work is crucial for the functioning of society, the recognition and respect they receive is limited. Drivers are often seen as lowly laborers, and their hard work and contributions are frequently overlooked. They're often humiliated by security guards. The societal prejudice and discrimination against drivers increases their mental burden and deepens their struggles. The combination of platform algorithms, lower delivery fees, more delivery workers, and fewer orders is making life harder for delivery drivers. With their income being squeezed as well, it's no wonder that protests and strikes are starting to happen. In fact, across China, the drivers' resistance has not been able to form a strong enough force to confront companies and the government. While protests in certain areas have achieved some results, these successes are short-lived and fail to address the overall structural issues. In most protests, the drivers lack effective organization and leadership. This situation not only exposes the driver's sense of powerlessness in the face of capital oppression, but also reflects broader societal problems. In fact, it's not just the drivers who are suffering under these delivery platforms. The merchants on these platforms are also being severely squeezed. Currently, the era of internet-driven growth has passed, but local services like food delivery are still experiencing strong development. One notable statistic is that, even as the restaurant industry as a whole enters a downturn, the major players in the food delivery sector continue to see double-digit growth in their performance. According to the third quarter 2024 financial report from a Chinese food delivery platform, the revenue and net profit growth is truly astonishing. The total revenue reached 93.6 billion yuan, a 22.4% increase year-on-year, with the core food delivery business contributing 69.4 billion yuan, a 20.2% rise. Most notably, the net profit surged to 12.86 billion yuan, exceeding market expectations transactions by over 30%. However, while food delivery platforms are experiencing booming performance, the restaurant industry seems to be entering a tough winter. Data from Tianyancha shows that, as of June 30th, 2024, the number of restaurant-related businesses in China that closed or had their licenses revoked reached a staggering 1 million. In comparison, only 1.35 million businesses shut down in all of 2023, which means that over 5,800 restaurants are closing every day. Furthermore, according to incomplete statistics from the food industry, at least 30 well-known restaurant brands have either shut down or made major adjustments in 2024. These include both popular internet brands and traditional restaurant chains like Din Tai Fung, Ge Lao Guan, and Hot Star Chicken, as well as international brands like Refer, Opera, and Frasca Italian Restaurant. With a current closure rate of 56%, it's predicted that by the end of 2024, over half of new restaurant openings will face closures. By this estimate, up to 2.3 million restaurant businesses were expected to close by the end of 2024. While food delivery platforms thrive, the restaurants are struggling. This stark contrast raises the question: what kind of business logic is supporting the growth of the food delivery industry despite its challenges? Analysts suggest that the food delivery platform model relies on large-scale data algorithms to precisely match delivery orders with merchants, achieving a supply-demand balance. While focusing on the merchants themselves, aside from the few major food delivery chains, most small and medium-sized businesses are barely surviving, struggling on the edge of low profit and high volumes. In fact, as their delivery orders increase, many small businesses are losing more money rather than earning more. There are several reasons for this loss. First, with intensifying competition in the industry, merchants are spending heavily on promotions to attract customers. In the past, platform commissions were between 6% and 8%, used for building the platform and running promotions. While it's reasonable for the platform to charge merchants for services, delivery fees are an additional cost paid by the merchants to the delivery drivers. For example, for an order worth 25.9 yuan, the customer pays only 1.75 yuan, while the merchant's expected income is negative 1.5 yuan. This is clearly a losing order for the merchant. According to the receipt, it explicitly states merchant's activity subsidy for the customer is 20.05 yuan. This shows that merchants are investing a large amount of resources in promotional activities, even losing money in the process to attract customers. Secondly, the high commission rates charged by food delivery platforms are also eroding the profitability of restaurant businesses. According to a 2024 report by II Media Research, over the past 5 years, the commission rate for Chinese food delivery platforms has risen from an average of 20% to 25%, with some popular business districts exceeding 30%. Notably, the platform service fees listed on delivery receipts include both the commission and delivery fees. However, it's important to note that delivery fees are generally fixed at around 4 yuan, while platform commissions remain high. For instance, on an order where the customer pays 68 yuan, the platform service fee is 17.48 yuan, which accounts for a significant 25.7% of the total order amount. Thirdly, many restaurants spend a substantial amount on advertising to promote themselves on these platforms, such as purchasing homepage recommendations or paying for bid-based rankings. While these marketing tactics can increase a store's exposure, in reality, if merchants don't have a professional advertising team or accurately calculate the return on investment, their marketing costs can become excessively high, reducing profits. Under the pressure of these factors, many merchants are struggling and even deeply dissatisfied with the delivery platforms. For instance, the 2024 data on the restaurant industry reveals that over 60% of merchants say that food delivery services have stopped being a profitable channel and have instead become a burden. As a result, some merchants, unable to bear the pressure, are forced to part ways with delivery platforms. In June 2023, the famous restaurant chain in northwest China shut down over 100 locations, publicly clashing with food delivery platforms. The underlying cause seems to be the platform's increase in commission rates, which pushed the owner to the breaking point. This is a nationwide chain with over 300 stores and more than 20 years of history. If not for the extremely low profits, it's hard to imagine the owner making such a decision. Similarly, the founder of Xibei, Jia Guolong, has openly said, "The delivery platforms make too much money, the merchants don't make any profit." It's clear that the losses suffered by these merchants are essentially the profits earned by the delivery platforms. Therefore, the performance growth of these platforms may not indicate a thriving industry. On the contrary, it could be a misleading illusion. While the restaurant delivery industry is facing widespread distress, it's clear where the industry's profits are ultimately going. On January 23rd of this year, a Meituan merchant posted online complaining that, although cooperation with Meituan increased traffic to their store, they received almost no more than 10 yuan from orders worth 20 yuan, and sometimes as little as 4 to 5 yuan, which is insufficient to cover their costs. The merchant later posted again, saying that the platform had blocked their post on the grounds of misleading content and defamation. Some netizens believe that this is a result of the CCP's economic model, where even food delivery platforms are squeezed to the limit, with merchants losing money, platforms blocking accounts, and the exploiters remaining free from consequences. Not only are merchants and drivers struggling, but this exploitative model also directly leads to a decline in food quality. The CCP has responded to this situation, for example, with Shanghai Cyberspace Administration collaborating with the Municipal Communications Administration, Public Security Bureau, and Market Supervision Bureau to launch a special campaign. Officially, this campaign aims to tackle algorithmic problems on delivery platforms. However, in reality, it's just a superficial gesture, and incidents of exploitation of food delivery drivers continue to occur. For example, the meal combo delivery program mentioned at the start of this video has not been stopped, which has sparked strong dissatisfaction among drivers. From an economic standpoint, the CCP is unlikely to truly regulate the delivery platforms, as their booming performance is one of the few successes in an otherwise declining economy. However, if the CCP government continues to turn a blind eye, it will inevitably lead to even greater problems for the food delivery industry, and the eventual outcome of such platforms can be easily predicted.